right, well, it'd still be the Confederate combat phase across the board. Any units that are adjacent have to have mandatory attacks we will continue with. But that was that attack here. We look around here. Ooh, we do have a mandatory attack here on Cemetery Hill, so we have to do something about these units. I mean, you can't move them because it's Early's turn. Early hasn't been pulled yet. But we do have our combat phase, so now we have to have mandatory combats. So anybody that's next to a unit in clear, right here, Early, clear, clear, he has to have a mandatory attack. See if there's anybody else close to him. Clear, he is uphill there, so here's a mandatory attack. See what I'm getting at? And since it's our combat phase, we have to do this. All right, now here, we're up on top of the hill, and these units here are below, so this is not mandatory. Right here, so these adjacent units aren't mandatory because we're at higher elevation. Now, if we had units at the higher elevation, let's see here. Yeah, well, no, this is a mandatory. This one here is mandatory, so we got 2 mandatory attacks we have to take care of. What were we going to do here? And over here, we have a mandatory attack. Now, he is at high elevation. These boys here are on the bottom of the hill. He's at the top of the hill with them. He's at the top of the hill with them, and he's at the top of the hill with them. So this group of units, mandatory, has to attack all 3 of these hexes. So, and it ain't their move, so it's a combat phase. And anything that's next to them, because we called combat there, has to attack. So we have some more attacks we have to resolve during the Confederate combat phase. The first one we're looking at here is Cemetery Hill. We have 2 units going. We'll see if they have any, Early has any artillery. No, he does not. Does he have any divisional artillery? No, we've already used that in this fight, so Early will be fighting against 2 versus 4, 1-2 attack. And it won't be no modifiers for terrain. 1-2 attack. Ooh, groceries aren't here yet, so we can still go on with this. So it's a 1-2. That's what I'm seeing. There you go. Ooh, we'll roll for the defenders first. And the defenders have to get a 4. Like I said, I don't see any modifiers for terrain. They're both in clear. So it'll be a 1-2 attack. And we will get a -1 as the defender. The first one up is green. Needs a 4 or less. He gets it. Next one is Candy. 3 or less, -1. He doesn't get it. So Candy, and that's a 6. So he'll have to retreat 3 hexes. He suffers a step loss and retreats 3 according to his compass, which would be this way, this way, this way. He can't do that, so it'll be 1, 2, 3 will be his compass. Will give him a victory point for the Confederates. All right, that is that unit. Now we roll for the Confederates. And Early, he's got a nice rating, but he gets a +1 because it's a 1-2 attack. So +1 with a 5. Oh, no way. Oh. All right, well, the difference between, he's got to retreat 1 hex. He can't go here because of stacking, so he'll go 1 more back. We'll put him here, flip him over, giving the Union a victory point. So that is it with that combat during the combat phase, and that had to have happened. So there you go. Okay, now we'll go for the next combat. I don't believe this is mandatory because it's not clear hexes. They're both in forests, so this won't be a mandatory attack. Anybody else is next, and that'll be this one right here. We'll have to figure this one out because we got 2 units here, and he has to attack everybody that's adjacent and clear. He's in clear, he's in clear, he's in clear, and he's in clear. So when you're in clear terrain, oh, you're adjacent, you got to attack. So I guess we could do it. Ooh, how would we do that? Ooh, 4 versus a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1-2 is the best way to do it, odds-wise. 1-2, so we'll do it a 1-2, which means we get a +1 on our rating. If they get a -1, We'll go with the defender first. 3 or less for, and we got to hurry up, car. 3 or less for car. Car passes. Ooh, 3 or less for Graham, or 2 or less for Graham. He gets a -1. 2 or less for Graham, -1. With a 2, he passes. Thanks to that modifier. Next is Ward. 3 or less, -1. Ooh, 3, he makes it thanks to the modifier. All right, so in this attack, the Union have held. All right, now, ooh, for Pettigrew's brigade, 3 or less with a +1 for the 1 to 2 attack. Ooh, 3, Pettigrew comes through. And at last but not least, ooh, Bon who? Oh, Brockenborough. All right, Brockenborough. 3 or less, +1. 3 or less, +1. 4, Brockenborough suffers and he got his retreat 1, but here's the key. He suffers a step loss. He doesn't have a step loss, so he's eliminated anyway. Union will take a victory point, and he is eliminated. And that is the end. Let's see here. Oh. Heath is next to somebody who's at a higher elevation. He's going to have to attack. All right. Heath is a 5. He's going uphill, so he'll get a +1, +2 on his rating. And Davis's brigade is as a 5. So +2 needs a 5 or less. Does not do it. So Davis's brigade suffers a step loss. Difference between 6 and 5 is 1. He'll go back this way. Another point for the Union. Now the defender will roll with what was that? A 1-to-1. 1-to-1 attack. 0. Dyro modifier, so we did that right. But he had a +1 because he was going up the hill, so he'll be rolling with no Dyro modifiers. Trying to get a 4 or less. He doesn't get it. So he has to retreat 2 hexes. Suffers a step loss. 1, 2 puts me out of that. This would cover him, but we'll go here. Knocked me out of the little spot there. We'll give them a victory point. Groceries are on the way, and there's nobody else that is adjacent. That's how you do that during the command or during the combat phase. We called combat for there and had to resolve every combat that was mandatory. All right, we got to be quick. We'll be right back. All right, so then this is the disposition of the forces after the map-wide combat phase of the Confederates. We'll proceed now with a command chit draw, but there you go. That's how it looks, and that's how the mechanics and the system works. Definitely interesting, and nothing really major happening. You can't see any, really big breakthroughs. Just maybe some units lost. The score now is Union 9, Confederates 12. Oh, wow. Yeah. The difference is the delayed victory points. Next chit draw will be, there's only a few of them left. 12 Corps. They have artillery available. That's what we're waiting on. We'll be right back. All right then, moving for the movement allowance. They get a 5. Well, we're not going to use all that. Here with a 5 is an 8 for 12th Corps. There you go. But I think we're just going to reinforce our victory point hex with another nice unit. This unit here suffered casualties during the mandatory Confederate attack. So I think with 12 Corps we're just going to do that, and maybe a little bit of, we got these units here too. We'll be right back. Alright then, 12 Corps movement is as follows. Here and over here. And we will completely surround this unit here. We have artillery. He has no artillery available. They were used in the last big combat. But there you go. During the Union combat phase, we have mandatory combats, which means we definitely have to have our combat phase. So there you go. That'll move over there. This one here is non-mandatory because we're both in woods. Although, is he higher up? Yeah, he is higher up than us. Wow, so this might be a mandatory combat too. Let me make sure. Oh, no, it's not, because, let me show you here. He's up on top with them, so that negates the obligation. If these two hexes were clear, they'd be in mandatory combat. It has to be clear hexes if your units are in clear, but we can squat down in the woods. We don't have to have combat. I'm trying to see if there's any place else where Union and Confederate forces are adjacent. I think this is going to be our only spot. And the combat will be as follows. All right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 versus a 3. So that is a 4-to-1 combat. Ooh. -3 for the attacker, +3 for the defender. And only 2 attacking units have to roll for losses, and we'll pick the weakest units of the Union. For now, we'll be rolling a Confederate die. And let me see here. Oh, no terrain effects. We were at a 4-to-1, and it will be a +3. Trying to get a 3 or less. Alright, so we got a 5. So that means he will suffer a step loss and a mandatory retreat, which they won't be able to take. So that'll be 2 step losses, which means 2 victory points. 9, 10, 11. So put this one over here. And did we take the lead? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, we're down by 1. So there you go. That's how that happens. Now we'll roll for, let me see, 4-to-1 attacker loss limit. So we have to roll for 2 attackers. We'll roll for the weakest ones, which will be, well, we don't want to roll for him. Roll for this unit here. Ooh, 2 or less, and it is a -3. 2 or less, -3 is a 1. They pass. Next unit we'll roll for will be, oh, this unit right here. What the heck? All right, -3 with a 3, so they really, oh, 5 -3 is a 2, less than their 3 number here. So that is good to go. I don't know if we want to really advance anybody. I don't need anybody up in there. I guess if I did anything, I'd go move him further towards the action. But that is that. The artillery has been used, and that is how you do that. I think we're doing it by the book. Now both combats have been taken up, so with these next chit draws, nobody can get close to anybody else, because you can't, no, either side, either the Confederates or the Union can move adjacent to any units in these next chit draws. So the next chit draws here, it will be Early. Early is adjacent, but he has terrain that's covering his ass from having a mandatory attack. Let's roll for Early's command rating. He gets a 2. Early, not doing too good with a 2. He gets a 4 movement points. His units are here, here, and here. Oh. So you want to do with Early. Ooh, you know what? Did we have a mandatory attack there? I believe we did. Huh. Yeah. That's mandatory. Oh, well, Early can move, so you can get out of it, I guess. We probably should have had a mandatory attack on that one. I didn't even see that. Oh, should we do that now? Let me check this out real quick. We'll be right back. All right, let's just take care of it right now real quick before we move Early's troops. That'll be a 1-to-1, but they're attacking uphill. So let's see here. We have a 1-to-1. Ooh. Right here. All the attackers have to roll for losses. No die roll modifiers for anybody. So the die roll modifier will come on the Confederate side for their terrain. 4 or less for the Union troops. 3, they could stay. Each one of these. Now we'll look underneath the terrain effect. Ooh, hill. Defense modifier, so we'll add +1 to their die roll. They need a 3. +1 for the top unit. He survives. Next one. 1. +1 is 2, so everybody survived. Everybody's staying there. Okay, now it's Early's turn. We are good to go. Just got to cover that. I think there's nobody else adjacent, so we'll see what Early's troops want to do now. We'll be right back. All right, well, during the retreat phase, we have to get out of there, so we'll have to move out of the way. What we'll do is move this unit here to bolster our forces up on the hill. No mandatory attack because it's all woods. And let me see here. Let me see what we want to move these boys to. 1. Oh, did we do that right? Did that wrong. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 4. Okay, we can get here still. All right, that's fine. We're going to move them next to this group here. This would constitute a mandatory attack, but we have units that are on the hill with them, so we'll get away with this one. We move them next, keep them in command range. All right, now it might be a mandatory attack for Avery's, but he's already been pulled. Yep, so we'll see what happens. We'd be at a disadvantage. Hold on, we're not going to do that because when it comes to the retreat phase, he's higher than us. So let me take that back and find out how we want to do this with Early's troops. We kind of want to get within command range. I don't think we're there yet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I guess we would be there, but coming to retreat phase, he's higher than us, so we gotta get out of there. We'll be right back. All right, another aspect of this game is when we leave the zone of control, we cannot enter another one. So Early's troops will just stay there. So that'll be it for the Early chit draw. One more chit draw left, and it will be the Confederates and McLaw. There you go. How many? McLaw 2. McLaw is up here. 2 represents 4 movement points, or converts into 4 movement points, and he has artillery coming in on a road, though. I think we'll use a reinforcement march. 1/4 movement point per hex. Nobody can be adjacent to you after movement, friendly or foe. All right, post McLaw's. Ooh, McLaw's movement. We just used a reinforcement march to get him on in there. Now that will take care of turn number 7. We're ready for early afternoon turn. We got reinforcements coming in. Ooh, just making a look at the map here. There are a lot of units that are being held up. Could be used further here. We might take McLaw on our next shit draw. Get rid of the stone in our shoe, which is first corps. Other than that, lines have been drawn pretty much around Cemetery Hill. The old fish hook, remember how that was, so we'll see how that turns out with the Confederates in this scenario, or in this game. We've got some high ground. When we come back, we'll start the early afternoon turn. Just making a couple observations, and we'll be back. So at the end of the 7th turn, July 2nd, late morning, the Confederates are ahead 13-12. Let me see, 12-11. 12-11. Yeah, 12-11. There you go. And we're at the retreat phase part of the game, to where any unit that's adjacent to an enemy unit at higher elevation has to retreat 4 hexes. Fortunately for the Union, this isn't a clear hex, so that doesn't apply. We'll be back.